Hello, it's anterior rami. Now in this video we want to look at development of respiratory system, but for now we are looking at the introductory aspects to the development of respiratory system. Before I dive into the development of respiratory system, you need to know that the respiratory system is responsible for gaseous exchange and it is responsible for oxygenation of blood, and it is divided into the conductive portion and the respiratory portion. You know, the conductive portion of the respiratory system is responsible for moistening the air and it also humidifies the air. You get the conductive portion are the when we talk about the nasopharynx, the pharynx itself, the larynx, the bronchiolus, up to the terminal bronchiolus, and so on and so forth. But when we talk about the respiratory portion of the respiratory system, that's where we talk about the respiratory bronchiolus, the alveoli, and the lungs itself. Now, in this video, we want to look at the development of respiratory system 1. We will be talking about the introduction to the respiratory system. Now, you need to know that development of respiratory system occurs during the 4th week of development, and it is coming from the what? Endodermal gut tube. You know, during the 4th week of development, that is when we undergo folding, and this is the way we are during the 4th week of development. Yeah, so during the 4th week, we undergo what we call what? Folding. Now, if you don't forget, this is the endoderm. There's something happening around the endoderm, which we call the what? Mesoderm. Then the outermost layer is what we call the what? Ectoderm. But have it in mind that development of respiratory system is gotten from the endoderm and the mesoderm, but endoderm to be precise. Do you get? Because it is the endoderm that forms the gut tube. If you remember, when part of the yolk sac is incorporated into the embryo, that's when the gut tube is formed. So this place here is the foregut, this place here is the midgut, and this place here is what? Ingut. Now, but which gut tube will give rise to the respiratory system? It is the foregut that is going to give rise to the respiratory system. So the mesoderm is just giving rise to the muscle, connective tissue, and cartilage of the respiratory system. Now let's look at the foregut. Let's take a section, a transverse section of the foregut. These are how it will look like. So this is the foregut. Yeah, so this is what we call the what? Foregut. I'm going to be explaining development of respiratory system in 2 views. This is the lateral view and the what? Anterior view. So let's say this is the lateral view now. So this is the foregut. So this is my what? Foregut. Now from the foregut, an endoderm bulge off from the foregut. You get? They bulge off from the foregut, an endodermal structure. So when the endoderm bulge off from the foregut, that endoderm is something like this. So this endoderm that bulge off from the foregut is what we call the what? Lung bud. Is that you call it lung bud, or you call it respiratory diverticulum? Yes. So this occurs during the 4th week, at the end of the what? 4th week. That is when this occurs. So the endoderm, when the bulge off from the foregut, that endoderm is what we call the lung bud. Though there is something that signals the bulge off of the respiratory diverticulum, we call it retinoic acid secreted by the what? Mesoderm. Now, when we have this lung bud, this is what we call the what? Side view. Now let me draw the anterior view. Now for the anterior view, something like this. This is the foregut, and what bulge off from the foregut is this lung bud. So this is the lung bud here. Yeah, so this is what we call the what? Anterior view. So this is our what? Foregut, and this is our what? Lung bud. Yes. So what happens is that this occurs during the 4th week of development. Then if you don't forget, there is a portion at which the endoderm bulge to form the lung bud. This portion at which the endoderm bulge to form the foregut is what we call the what? Tracheoesophageal groove. That's what we call the what? Tracheoesophageal groove. That tracheoesophageal groove is where the endoderm bulge off to become the lung bud or respiratory diverticulum. Do you get? So there's a communication between the lung bud and the foregut. Are you guys getting what I'm saying now? So during the 5th week, something happened. You know, I said there's a communication between the lung bud and the what? Foregut. Why? Because of the tracheoesophageal groove. Because it is the endoderm uses the tracheoesophageal groove to bud off in order to form the respiratory diverticulum that is going to give rise to our trachea and the lungs. Now let's continue. Now what occurred during the end of 5th week? This tracheoesophageal groove become blocked. Do you get what I'm saying? The communication between the long bud and the foregut become blocked in the sense that there is a septum formed around the tracheoesophageal groove. Now this is it here. You now have like this. This is the foregut. Now the septum is lost. It's now like this. So this is the foregut, while this is the what? Long bud. Now this septum, the tracheoesophageal groove is lost. Why? Because of the formation of tracheoesophageal septum that occurred during the what? 5th week. So you can see the tracheoesophageal septum very well with the aid of this anterior view. Now with the aid of this anterior view, we have it to be like this. This is the what? Foregut. Now a communication will be lost, which is the tracheoesophageal groove. Then we have it to be like this. This is the foregut, and then this is the what? The communication that is lost. Exactly. So these are what? Foregut, and this is our what? Long bud. Now if you don't forget, when the tracheoesophageal septum is formed that obliterates the communication between the long bud and foregut, that tracheoesophageal septum will divide the long bud anteriorly, so that the long bud, which is also called the respiratory diverticulum, will form the what? Trachea and the lungs. You get form the trachea, the bronchi, and the lungs itself. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So that tells that this long bud later become the trachea and the bronchia and the what? The lungs. Now this foregut that has become separated will now lie what? Posteriorly. You know, the tracheoesophageal septum has separated the long bud anteriorly and foregut posteriorly. I guess what I'm saying now. So this foregut that lies posteriorly will later become our what? Esophagus. That is why you see it in normal human being that the trachea and the lungs lies anteriorly and the esophagus lies what? Posteriorly. This is where it starts from. Before, the trachea and the esophagus, which is the foregut, they have a communication before. That communication is what we call what? Tracheoesophageal groove. Then during the 5th week, the communication is lost by the formation of what? Tracheoesophageal septum. Yes, tracheoesophageal septum. So this tracheoesophageal septum will obliterate the connection between the trachea and the esophagus, so that the trachea can lie what? Anteriorly, and the esophagus can lie what? Posteriorly. So that's what I want you to know. Now assuming we make use of this cup, now look at it now. This is the foregut. Are you guys getting my point now? This is the foregut. Now something brought off from this foregut. Can you see now? Something brought off from this foregut, which we call the what? Long bud, or the respiratory diverticulum. Now the portion at which this long bud brought off, that is what we call tracheoesophageal groove. Tell you that there is a communication between this long bud that is going to give rise to our trachea and lungs with the foregut, because the foregut will later become the esophagus. So there is a communication between the trachea and esophagus at first, and what is connecting them, what is forming the communication, is the tracheoesophageal groove. Then later on during the 5th week, what happens? A septum is formed around here. Do you guys get my point now? So this septum formed here will separate this long bud anteriorly from the foregut posteriorly. So this long bud that separated anteriorly will give rise to our trachea, bronchi, and the lungs. While this foregut that separated posteriorly will give rise to our what? Esophagus. That's why you see the trachea to the anterior and the esophagus to the what? Posteriorly. Tell you that the esophagus is coming from the foregut, and this place is coming from the what? It's coming from the what? Long bud, which is the trachea and the lungs. Now imagine there is no connection, there is no obliteration of the communication between the trachea and the what? Esophagus. That is what we call what? Tracheoesophageal fistula. When there is abnormal communication between the trachea and the what? Esophagus. Though tracheoesophageal fistula usually occur if there is no formation of tracheoesophageal septum that can separate the trachea away from the what? Esophagus. So let's look at the degree of the what? Tracheoesophageal fistula. So that's what we want to look at. Tracheoesophageal fistula. So tracheosphageal fistula is the abnormal communication between the trachea and the what? Esophagus. Between the trachea and the esophagus. If there is no formation of tracheosphageal septum that can separate the trachea away from the esophagus. Though we have the type A, it is type A, type B, C, D, and E. For the type A, it is something like this. This is the trachea. And this is what? Esophagus. So this is the trachea, while this is the what? Esophagus. So for the type A, it occurs in 80% cases. Do you get what I'm saying? It's the second most diagnosed case. Do you get what I'm saying now? Now for the type A tracheosphageal fistula, we also call it esophageal atresia. That is another name for it. Esophageal atresia. What is the meaning of esophageal atresia? It's a condition whereby there is loss of communication between the esophagus and the stomach. You know, the esophagus should connect to the stomach, so the communication is lost. As a result of that, the esophagus ends in blind pouches. That is what we call what? Esophageal atresia. Now for the type B, this is the what? Trachea. Are you guys getting my point now? And the esophagus, the upper portion of the esophagus is connected here, and we also have this here. So this one occur in about 2% cases. Do you get it now? 2%. So for the type B, tracheosphageal fistula, you need to know that there is loss of communication between the esophagus and the stomach, in the sense that the upper portion of the esophagus communicates with the trachea, while the lower portion ends in blind pouches. That is what we call type B. Type B, the upper portion is connected to the trachea, but the lower portion ends in blind pouches. That is for type B. So for the type C, is the most common cases, about 85 to 88% cases diagnosed. So for the type C, this is the trachea. The upper portion ends in a what? Pouch, while the lower portion is connected to the what? Trachea. That is for the what? Type C. Can you see the difference between the two? This one, the upper portion is connected to the trachea, but in this one, the lower portion is connected to the trachea, while the upper portion ends in blind pouches. Now for the type D, this one occurs in 1% cases. It is the rarest form of tracheosphageal fistula. In that form, both ends, this is the trachea, this is the what? Trachea. Both ends of the esophagus will be connected. Now, can you see now? Both ends of the esophagus are connected to the trachea. That's what we call the type D tracheosphageal fistula. Do you get it now? Both the upper end and the lower end of the esophagus are connected to the trachea, which is the windpipe. Now for the last one is the what? Type E. This one occurs in 4% cases, in the sense that this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. The esophagus is a straight tube that goes into the stomach, so that communication is not lost in the type E. That means that the esophagus is connected to the stomach, but at the same time it is also connected to the what? Trachea. That is what we call type E tracheosphageal fistula. So that is the congenital anomaly associated if tracheoesophageal septum did not develop, that will separate the anterior long bud away from the posterior foregut. So that is the end of this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It's Anterior Rema.